Hi Kiwi, alright, we are back at another episode of Pokemon Shining Pearl, and today we're going to enter the Great Marsh and catch ourselves a new member to the team.
Welcome to the Great Marsh. Is this your first Safari game?
Yes.
When you enter the Great Marsh, you receive 30 Safari Balls. That's the only kind of ball you're gonna be allowed to use in the Safari game. The game is over when you run out of Safari Balls or when you've walked 500 steps. Please do enjoy the untamed nature of the Great Marsh.
Alright, let us in. Oh, we have to pay, right? Yeah, $500 for a game. Let's go ahead. Alright, so in typical fashion, our first encounter in each region will be our first catch. If the Great Marsh has different partitions to its sections, then that's what we'll probably use to our advantage. I don't know if the catch location is going to specify Area 6 versus Area 1. So I'm gonna function on under the assumption that the Great Marsh is only one location. But maybe I'll be a little bit more forgiving since it's harder to catch Pokemon here, that I'll just let myself catch whatever I am able to catch. We acquired Defog. Oh, it's a hidden move app, really? Blows away white fog that obscures your path. Huh. I wouldn't have expected them to make Defog a HM. Usually it's just a TM that clears traps like Stealth Rock and Spikes, but also removes any status changes.
Quick, out in the sticks. To and fro, we're quick.
To and fro, we are quick. If you're thinking about going deep into the marsh, I recommend you take the Great Marsh Quick Trams. All right, why don't we've got a bunch of locations we can potentially go. Let's go ahead and let's go to Area 4. I don't actually know where anything is here, so I'm just picking a random place, and that's where we're gonna wind up. All right, Kiwi, let us see what we catch as our first new member of the team in the Great Marsh. Ooh, swampy terrain makes us walk really slow. And we have got ourselves a Geodude. Oh, yay, a Badoo. Oh, what an exciting new encounter. Oh, I'm so happy that this is the Pokemon we try to catch as our new member of the team. I'm just gonna throw a Safari Ball immediately. Whether it catches or not is whatever. This is disappointing, Kiwi. Oh man, we had so many options and this is what we get. Oh well. I don't even have to think about the nickname for this one. You are just gonna be Disappointment. You know what? It's so disappointing it doesn't get a nickname. I was gonna make, I don't know. I messed up. I'll name him when we get to the box. We still have to send a Pokemon from our box we still have to sacrifice a Pokemon to evolution fodder because we did have Pine Tree evolve a couple episodes ago. When you're walking on boggy parts, sometimes you get sucked down. Getting free of the bog takes time, which is a luxury in a Safari game. Oh, we're immediately finding anyone. We're just gonna hunt around this area and see what we catch. Oh, a Roselia. That I'll take because we do not have her in the Pokedex yet. Now, for those tuning in and are not familiar with my Nuzlocke rules, my rules are I can still catch any Pokemon, but I can only use the first Pokemon encounters in every region, like the standard Nuzlocke challenge, but I love the collectathon nature of Pokemon, so not being able to catch Pokemon during a Nuzlocke just makes it a lot less fun to me. Oh, hold on. Anyway, well, while we are wandering around the Great Marsh today, why don't we talk about Gen 3? I've rambled a fair bit about Gen 1, Gen 2, some movies, and the Pokemon Stadium games, but Gen 3, before I even go into Gen 3, I have to talk about I have to talk about the Pokemon Colosseum games. They are probably among my favorite Pokemon games, period. If they count a spin-off, so be it, but I think I actually kind of left off in the last episode saying that I would probably talk about that in this one. Basically, so the gimmick of Pokemon Colosseum is that there are shadow Pokemon. Basically, the evil team of these games, at least in the first game, I believe they're called Team Snag'em. They corrupt the hearts of Pokemon, closing off their emotions to just like negative emotions only.
Wooper. When the temperature cools in the evening, they emerge from water to seek food along the shore.
Okay, well, I love Wooper. I am gonna name you... All right, welcome to the team Muppy Stimps. What does that mean? I'll have to remember that Badoo was our Pokemon from the new Pokemon of our region and organize accordingly. Anyway, So Team Snag'em would kind of like corrupt these Pokemon, turn their hearts to the dark side, basically. And then they would, the mechanic of the game was that you could steal any shadow Pokemon from other trainers. You had shadow Pokemon were not immediately obvious to your character, but you had a Misty type character from the anime, of like an orange-haired girl in shorts, who follows you around and can see shadow Pokemon for whatever reason. And you could use her ability to see shadow Pokemon to identify which ones there were, and then you could capture those Pokemon and steal them from the trainers. So you could actually capture Pokemon from a trainer battle, which was was a really novel idea, because everyone as a kid definitely tried catching another trainer's Pokemon, like, oh, you've got a really cool Nidoking, what if I want that? And of course, the mechanic was always that the trainer that had that Pokemon would knock the ball away and say, hey, you can't catch my Pokemon. That Quagsire is definitely watching us carefully. Look at those cold, dead eyes. I'm gonna just keep hucking balls and hope I can catch it. I love Quagsire so much. I probably have to hit it with a rock to make its catch rate go up, unfortunately. Oh well. Anyway, so that alone made the Pokemon Colosseum game stand out a lot, but more than that, they were hard and they were exclusively double battles. So double battles, you really don't get to see them very much in the core, the mainline games. They focus on single battles almost exclusively. Hey, it's my sister's favorite Pokemon, a Psyduck. I love Psyduck. I love Psyduck in the anime too. Just always having a headache, always randomly out of nowhere just launching confusion and lifting things up with its psychic powers. Maybe I'm mistaken and I just should actually start beating Pokemon to death with rocks before trying to catch them with the balls. But I'm trying at least once more on this duck. Come on. Got him, nice. Anyway, so let's see what your Pokedex entry says.
Psyduck, it never remembers using its odd powers, so it always tilts its head in puzzlement.
And we are going to name you. My first thought was Duck Duck Goose, but that's kind of lame. I was going to name him Goose Goose, but I want to remember the cat named Goose Goose, so I'm going to name him Goose the Cat. Welcome to the team, Goose the Cat. We'll never use you because you are nothing but a number in our Pokedex, unfortunately. Anyway, so the Pokemon Colosseum games were really hard. The doubles format made it a lot more difficult to kind of manage everything at once. Namely, more than anything, it's just like you're fighting two Pokemon at once, right? So those two Pokemon could target any of your team and just burst them down. And so Nuzlocking in that game is an abject nightmare, I imagine. I've never personally tried, but I bet it is. Go upstairs to the observatory before you start your safari game. Check the marsh with binoculars to see where the Pokemon you want may happen to be. That's how you win. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have done that because anything would have been better than a Badoo. I mean, I would have been ecstatic with a Wooper because Quagsire, if we lose Gastrodon, would be a fantastic replacement. Not that I want to lose Manny the Dude Buster. Manny the Dude Buster has probably been the Pokemon that's been with us the longest aside from Pine Tree, honestly. And I guess Captain Squawk. Like, who's our OG team members at this point? Captain Squawk, Pine Tree, and Manny the Dude Buster. Everyone else is kind of new additions, or recent additions, yeah. I figure I'll just do one Safari game. We'll catch whatever we can. Fortunately, we're not seeing terribly exciting things aside from that one Quagsire, which is just gone. Never had a chance of catching it. We got the Wooper, at least. I can't complain too much. I'm hunting around for items as well, because who knows? There might be something decent here. I'm happy I found Defog. Funny that once again they locked a HM behind a region like the Great Marsh. And for context, in the first generations of Pokemon, that's the only way I think you could get Strength or Surf. I think both. Or no, I think Strength was in a house in Fuchsia City where the Safari Zone was, but Surf was absolutely hidden within the Safari Zone, and you had to find some old dude's golden teeth to be able to access it. It's interesting that they made it kind of a higher and lower tier area so you can kind of go between the two locations. I don't think we're finding anything else in this area, so I'm going to keep moving along to the southern regions. Anyway, so Pokemon Colosseum, Aside from being able to catch your opponent's Pokemon and the double battles aesthetic, there were only so many trainer battles that you could fight, so it was really hard to get your Pokemon over leveled. Plus the doubles format makes it very likely that Pokemon would get knocked out. I particularly remember, I forget if it was called like the Pokemon Tower or whatever it was. There was a sequential Pokemon battle arena where you would fight, I think you had to fight like 20 or 25 trainers in a row to end on a boss fight with the enemy team that the dude had an Entei, a Shadow Entei. So Shadow Pokemon, for context, I forgot to mention, aside from the whole context of how they work and the ability to catch them from other trainers, they get Shadow moves. Shadow moves are basically like typeless moves. They're not super effective and they're not resisted by anything. I think they might be super effective against other Shadow Pokemon, but beyond that, that's about it. And they have some really interesting effects. Some of them are like the standard, they do the base amount of damage with the base amount of accuracy and that's it. Others had really nifty effects. I remember, I think Shadow Lugia from the second game had an ability that would always do half your opponent's current HP, regardless of resistances or anything of that nature.
Meryl. The tip of its tail is filled with oil that is lighter than water, so it acts as a float.
That's cool until it tries to like swim downwards. I guess these are more like water surface dwelling type of Pokemon. Anyway, I feel like the default name for Meryl is always going to be Blue Pikachu. So, fun fact, Kiwi, back in the day when, before Gen 2 had come out, Pika Blue was the hypest thing. So people saw Meryl and was like, is that Pikachu but blue? It's a new Pokemon. There are only 150 Pokemon right now, or more, I guess, because we also had Togepi from the anime. But yeah, Meryl, I think, what was his name? Tracy had a Meryl, and that was like the biggest deal. Tracy was the, I think, the green hair, the green clothed, drawing focused fellow that tagged along with Misty and Ash through the, or were they, I'm forgetting the name, not the Whirl Islands, the Orange League, whatever the Orange League was, where it was kind of, the Orange League was kind of this, not spin-off, but like non-canon region that they created for the anime to follow up as like after Ash finished the Gen 1 region. Throwing food at Pokemon makes it easier to catch them, but while eating it, they are likely to bolt. Throwing mud at a Pokemon makes it harder to catch, but they'll also get angry and become less likely to bolt. Wait, so throwing mud at Pokemon makes them less likely to bolt? Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought throwing mud at things made it easier to catch them. Oh, that's it. That's our Safari game for the day. Okay, well, that was half the episode. We caught a couple new Pokemon. That's cool. Let's go do some quick PC organization. I'll cut that out so you don't have to watch me fuss with my arbitrary organization standards. So we'll pick up in a second. All right, so following up where we left off, I've organized into the Pokemon that are new catches that we can use, and we, like I said before, we'll have to sacrifice someone for the evolution of Pine Tree, so I'm going to sacrifice Nurple Yeri, the box of people who have either died or been sacrificed for the sake of evolution. With that all said, we are good to move on. Let us see. Oh, you know what? We haven't talked to the characters in the Poké Center, so let's go ahead and do that real quick.
Astoria's Great Marsh was once part of the sea. Seawater drained away over time, leaving the huge marshland. That's why they say there are rare Pokemon that you can only see there.
The Great Marsh is vast. How vast is it, you ask? Take a look from the observatory and you can see for yourself.
Maybe we did read this. All right, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and take on Crasher Wake's gym? And that'll be how we round out our episode with the latter half. Captain Squawk is fairly up there in level, so I think I'll start with Star Gecko, just so that we don't waste too much of Captain Squawk's potential. All right, we have entered the gym. We can no longer leave until all trainers are defeated and the leader is defeated. This is very clearly a water-themed gym, given the fisherman, although why would you fish in your gym?
The gym leader Wake, Crasher Wake, is a master of water-type Pokemon. I'd say you've got the guts if you try to face down water types with fire or ground-type Pokemon. But that part I'll lead up to you. Go and have some good battles.
I definitely misread something there, and I'm not going back on it. So, I don't actually remember how this little puzzle works, but it looks like we just pressed buttons and that moves probably... Oh, it drains the water. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway. So yeah, we're leading with Star Gecko, and let us begin our first trainer battle.
My body isn't the only thing I work on toughening up here. I also work on my Pokemon and my spirit.
Anyway, back on Pokemon Colosseum. So much for talking about Gen 3 this episode, right, Kiwi? Anyway, I remember that the way that your goal was always to purify Shadow Pokemon. Oh wait, no. I was talking about this enemy team leader first. So you fight 20 or 25 battles in a row, or maybe it was only 10, but still, it was a slog, and I don't think you healed between those battles. There was no backtracking either. And then, no, you must have healed in some capacity. No, I don't think you did. Either way, so you do that, and then hopefully that doesn't hurt too much. Okay, we're fine. Anyway, he shows up with a Shadow Entei that has like all the benefits of being a Shadow Pokemon plus the stats of a Legendary. It was terrifying. He was such a hard fight. And I remember, I forget which Mon it was, whether it was Entei or another one. It had Earthquake, which was so very strong compared to like, at this time you're like fighting level 20, maybe at most 30 Pokemon.
Wow, trainer, you might just be tougher than our gym leader.
So I remember, I have not touched Pokemon Colosseum in so very long, but I distinctly remember having quite the struggle, let's say, for that experience.
I have mastery of the incredible power over water. You won't win.
I also remember that so any controller that you use, there is, I'm extrapolating from data that I don't have answers to, so bear with me if I misexplain something here, but to my understanding, controllers kind of have a set point that they always default back to. So if you turn on a controller while holding the control stick up, it now interprets that up position as its starting center position, and it basically interprets it as you're constantly trying to move down if your control stick is in its neutral position. And that has been present for pretty much every controller in existence. As soon as it boots up, that's how it kind of interprets its existence. It doesn't reset to normal if you just move the control stick back to place.
But the kid wins anyway, I'm just bowled over.
And so, you could use that to walk. There were certain angles that you could lock your character model into that would let you walk for infinite periods of time. And the reason why that's relevant is because in Pokemon Colosseum, your goal was always to purify all of the Shadow Pokemon. And what that means is basically Shadow Pokemon, as you basically get friendship points with them, which we discussed in a previous episode, battle with them, use items on them, have them hold an item, use things that upgrade their friendliness, like getting them massages, or other overworld interactions that are like random and dispersed through the world, makes their shadow gauge go down over time.
I've traveled all over the globe while raising Pokemon. This is the gym I've chosen. You'll find it a handful for sure.
And so your goal was to get the shadow gauge down, because once it was down to its lowest possible number, you could bring it to this shrine and cure it of its shadow Pokemon status, turning it back to a normal Pokemon and effectively saving its heart, saving its emotional and mental capacity to be anything more than it currently was. And I remember very exclusively, repeatedly, just so you could, the shadow gauge would go down slowly, very slowly, for just walking in the overworld. So I would leave the game on overnight and just have my character walk in place in a place just outside where the shrine room is, to like purify a full party of shadow Pokemon all at once, rather than engaging with the main mechanics of the game. And I mean, I think that worked in the second game as well, although it's interesting, I have fewer memories of the second game overall. The first game was just, I played it more often, and then the second game came out, and don't get me wrong, I think the second game is awesome. That said, having gone back to it very briefly, I realized how kind of bad the graphics are back in the day.
You're kind of top-class tough.
It was, I think it was when I found my footage of the huge number of Bidoof I had. I ended up going back briefly and just looking at that game too.
I want to become a strong trainer like Crasher Wake.
And oh my goodness, that first cutscene in Colosseum 2 where Shadow Lugia abducts a ship and like overboards the captain. It looks so hilariously jank. I think I showed it to you, but it's definitely worth looking at and just kind of chuckling to yourself a little bit. Oh, what? Apparently Azurill is part normal type, and I did not know that. Okay. Well, I cannot hit it with any of my ghost type moves. Good to know. I thought it was Water Fairy, honestly, which is why I didn't use Payback. Well, I'm not going to do any damage with Payback, so I guess we use Thunderbolt here after all. I was just trying to conserve PP, because it's fine. I mean, we'll probably run out of Thunderbolt uses before we get to Crasher Wake, but I can probably take out at least some of his headliner Pokemon, or his starting Pokemon. If I recall, he has a Floatzel, and that Floatzel is a monster, so I've got to be careful about that. I imagine Manny the Dude Buster can probably tank it, but he won't be able to, like, kill it very easily. Anyway, I guess we spam Thunderbolts. I don't know what Meryl's type is. Again, I assume that, I'm pretty sure Azumarill is a Fairy type, Fairy Water. So I guess it goes normal, then Water, then Fairy Water, maybe? Or I don't know what Meryl is. We'll have to look at that later. Either way, hooray for a level on Star Gecko.
You're too much.
Oh gosh, what voice am I gonna give Crasher Wake? I'm probably just gonna go the deep gravelly route, like usual. Alright, let's do something funny with him.
I have landed the most fish Pokemon in the world. I'm next.
You're next for what? Did I misread that as well? I don't know, whatever. Alright, I still don't like the idea of fishing in a swimming pool. That just seems kind of messed up. Oh well, they're starting with like low-level fish Pokemon. We're fine. Anywho, what else can I remember? So I forget if it was the first or the second game, but I very distinctly remembering the final boss battle was against the mayor of a random town, I think. And he goes from like this goofy, kind of like dorky, generic, large man mayor character to just being kind of like an evil clown looking guy. And it was just the weirdest reveal out of nowhere. You know what? Even more important than the random mayor who was the final boss that had a Shadow Tyranitar or Shadow Salamence, I think between the two games, I think that was the case. More importantly, let's talk about Mirror B. Oh my goodness, Mirror B's theme is an absolute bop. The man just has, presumably the man, has nothing but Ludicolo on his team, and he's just dancing with them. And then he was probably one of the only characters in the game to have a very custom intro when you fight him, and it's in beat with the song. He does like a little bit of a dance, a backflip, and then a snap on the beat of the song starting. It's like snap, and he snaps with it, and oh my goodness, Kiwi, it's so dumb. It's so unbelievably stupid. He is just a skinny man in a yellow jumpsuit, basically, with a giant Pokeball colored afro, red and white afro, 50-50 on each. And I don't care. He is probably my favorite character out of any Pokemon game, and it's great he shows up in both Colosseum games. What voice did I? All right.
Being number one in the world doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, whatever. That is not the right voice for him, and I know it. Anyway, I think that's all the trainers in the gym, so let's heal up and prepare for Crasher Wake. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is Mirror B is a gem and must be protected at all costs. I don't care if he's on the enemy team. He can do whatever the hell he wants, because he already is. He is a role model, Kiwi. What is the point of this button? You can press it, but it doesn't do anything that you can, like, leave for. You have... whatever. I guess I should actually pay attention to the puzzle and figure out how I'm supposed to engage with Crasher Wake at this point. I guess, let's see. We need the water raised all the way to maximum height from the looks of it. There's probably this blue button up here, because it's all the way up top. Oh, I guess we missed one trainer. Silly me.
Like a sea, like a raging sea, I crush down and wash away everything before me. That's just how I roll.
Okay, random sailor dude in a gym. Why does he have binoculars? Like, I get it if he's on a ship, but he's just a random dude in a gym. What are those binoculars gonna show you that you can't already see with your, like, your eyes? Anyway, Shellos is just water type at the start, but It's pretty tanky. I probably want to hit it with a Thunderbolt. I want to try Hex and see how much damage it does. This will be a good litmus test for whatever Pressure Wake has. So, all right, I appreciate the HP and special defense on Shellos, but it's not as threatening as Gastrodon, and also we have a 10 level advantage on a Haunter. I guess I shouldn't have been that afraid after all. I'll spam Hex here just to save some PP on Thunderbolt, which will be our more important come the upcoming fight. Anyway, so yeah, Mirror B is an absolute gem in those games, and I will always remember him fondly. And he just, it's just, you walk into the rooms where you fight him, and he's just there jamming with Ludicolo on all four corners of the room, jamming with him. He is such a vibe. I'm trying to think, are there any other like very memorable characters from that game? I really don't think there are any that could take the spotlight the way that Mirror B does, honestly.
That wave didn't even wash my hands.
Okay. Right, I was gonna push this button, which should hopefully give us access to the king himself, and that it has. All right, just the gym leader left. I think everyone's at full HP. We'll lead with Star Gecko. I'm gonna save just for peace of mind. Granted, it really doesn't affect anything given the fact that, again, we just go right in. All right, Crasher Wake, you're the last thing before this episode ends. Let's do this.
Welcome.
Oh, you know, now let's do it. Let's just go with it.
Welcome. I don't get challenged very often. The glory you are now beholding is the Pastoria gym leader. That's me. That's right. I'm Crasher Wake. My Pokemon were toughened up by stormy white waters. They'll take everything you can throw at them and pull you under. Victory will be ours. Come on, let's get it done.
This is definitely the last episode I'm recording today. I'm going to lose my voice. I already recorded 2 other episodes of a series that has not actually aired yet. It'll probably air whenever I decide to take a break from Pokemon. But man, look at those pecs. This guy works out. This guy definitely works out. Okay, Gyarados is a little scary because it very well could know Crunch. If it knows Crunch and it is faster than us, goodbye Star Gecko. But it's level 27. I think there's a reasonable chance we outspeed it. I'm going for it. If it uses Aqua Jet, I'm not afraid of Aqua Jet. I'm afraid of Aqua Jet on Floatzel, maybe, if it's like level 30 or something. But we're fine in this form. I appreciate that you can see the lights in the ceiling reflected on the floor. That's a nice little bit of detail worth pointing out. I'm gonna send out Quagsire. So Quagsire is water ground type, which means I can't use my electric moves here, and we don't have any good grass type moves, right? What answer do we have for Quagsire? We don't really have a good one. Actually, thinking about it, we don't have a very good team going into here. I guess it's just Quipplecore and Celestabeth, that we can't use them at all in this setting. I think, well, it can't hit us with ground type moves, so I don't think there's anything it can do that can really harm us. So I'm gonna try Hex and see how much damage it does, and then we'll finish it off with Nightshade. His last Pokemon is definitely Floatzel, so, okay. Rain Dance, ooh, I don't like that. It's setting up for Floatzel to do extra damage, so Rain enhances the damage of water type moves by 50%. I think I honestly might have to send out Manny the Dude Buster just to like tank the Floatzel to play it safe, because I do not want to risk any of my other Mons. Granted, Floatzel's attack, it's going to be depending on its attack stat probably. I'm going to use Nightshade here, and then I think what I'll do is I'll switch out to Manny the Dude Buster and wait out the rain. Probably play it safe that way. Floatzel will do neutral damage to Manny, but that's totally fine. Pine Tree is level 37. Cool.
Hey, that was a good move.
Give me their weight. Okay, there's the Nightmarish Floatzel. I like the little belly button aesthetic that has like a water droplet sign on it. All right, we are not leaving Star Gecko after this. I could probably win with a Thunderbolt, but I'm a little bit afraid of tanking a rain boosted stab Aqua Jet. It probably wouldn't kill us, but I can't guarantee that it won't. So yeah, we're gonna send in Manny the Dude Buster and let him tank this Floatzel. We have Recover. We don't really have any moves that are super effective against this, but maybe we spam Body Slam and hope for the paralysis. Okay, yeah, Floatzel had Bite. There was no way that Star Gecko would have survived that anyway. Yeah, let's spam Body Slam here and try to paralyze it. If we can get its speed under control, that won't stop it from attacking first with Aqua Jet, but it will make it a lot more manageable. All right, so we can survive basically 3 hits. Oh, wow. Our body slam actually does a fair bit of damage. Not bad. Citrus Berry is a bit of a pain, though. Means we'll have to 3-shot it. I think what I'll do is I'll have Manny take time for a recover, because we're going to take enough damage. Ice Fang. Okay, there's a chance we freeze. Okay, it's a low chance, and I don't know how the rain affects that, but I believe Ice Fang's chance for freezing is only 10%, so it's not likely going to happen, but it very well could, especially if we take a lot of hits from it. Brine. If I recall, Brine is a physical attacking water type move that actually does a fair bit of damage, and I believe it has a secondary effect that might be it does more damage based on status ailment.
This is where it gets exciting.
Meaning, like, if your opponent has a status ailment, Brine might do more damage. I forget if that's its effect or not. I can't fully remember. Oh, lame. He's healing it up. Looks like we're going to be fighting this Floatzel for a while. All right, 2 more hits. 2 more hits unless we crits. The good news is Manny the Dude Buster can survive a crit from Floatzel, so I think this body slam should be the end of it all. I like that animation though. It's definitely doing the Tails the Fox sort of thing from Sonic, where it spins its tails to, in this case, probably swim rather than fly, but still. But there we go, Crasher Wake defeated with minimal threat. I think we're just too overleveled, honestly, but that's not entirely my fault. Like, I am playing by the rules of I must defeat every trainer I encounter, which in a lot of other Pokemon games does not overlevel you. I'm gonna let that Sucker Punch go. I'm not gonna use that. It doesn't scale well with Haunter's weak attack stat.
Wahaha! It's gone and ended. How will I say this? I want more. I want it to battle a lot more.
Where are your nipples? Sorry, that was unnecessary.
It seems the Undertow pulled me under. I had a great time battling with you. You've earned this.
All right, there's badge number 4. Oh, our badges are looking real dirty. I should kind of clean them up, shouldn't I? You received the Fen badge from Wake. That is a weird sentence. The Fen badge from Wake.
You need that Fen badge to use the hidden move Defog from your Poketch. These are a special reward from me in recognition of your team's power.
Stickers? Yay, stickers! You obtained TM55s as well. That's probably Brine if I had to guess. Yep, the move Brine.
It inflicts double the damage on targets with less than half their HP left.
Oh. It's a good thing I kept, Manny the Dude Buster's HP up, because that might have actually cost us if I hadn't used the recover on that turn.
Use it to end battles decisively.
It's basically Pokemon's equivalent of an execute move, meaning the lower your opponent's HP, the more damage the move does. Either way, Kiwi, I think that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope that you're sleeping well. In the next one, I'll actually talk about Gen 3 instead of a game that came out during Gen 3, I guess. With all that said, though, I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now.